This video will highlight the available information for troubleshooting the BEV85 and look at three typical issues: air leaks and the related pressure switch and non-return valve, stalled motors and excessive moisture. If you're unsure of the BEV85 issue, review the manual and its troubleshooting table. If you don't have one, access it by scanning the QR code on the compressor with your smartphone or device that has a QR code reader app. The manual has lots of useful information on troubleshooting and understanding 5 key components and exploded diagrams. The troubleshooting table will take you to 10 problems, possible causes, corrective actions. Take time to review these. From the compressor not running, no air supply, motors humming, tripping supplies, motors cutting out, leaks, moisture in discharge air, compressors running continually, vibrations and low air output. Air leaks are the most common cause of compressor failure and downtime. Air leaks will increase unplanned maintenance requirements and increase running costs. In this brief section, we'll touch on the beverage dispensing system air leaks and focus on the main cause of compressor air leaks. In doing so, review the misdiagnosed pressure switch and its linked non-return valve. The beverage system plumbing and equipment air leaks are the main cause of failure to air compressors. These air leaks cause excessive demand, greater than the systems have typically been designed. This will cause overheating of compressors and decrease availability of air pressure and volume. Ensure regular inspection of the beverage system and plumbing components. Inspect air supply network hoses and fittings, joints, regulators. Confirm pumps are operating efficiently and effectively. Check that dispensing taps and valves, bib connections are not leaking, and then ensure that the compressor actually cycles off during normal equipment operation. With the BEV85 pressurized and idle, the air compressor needs to be isolated from the beverage dispensing equipment. There should be no air leaks. Monitor the tank pressure gauge. It should be remaining stable. If it decreases, listen for leaking sounds or hissing and use soapy water to inspect joints, air fittings. The review of the pressure switch and non-return valve are next. The air leaks due to worn non-return valves are the most common reasons for pressure switches being incorrectly diagnosed as faulty and are the main reason that air compressors leak. The pressure switch in brief. The key components are the on-off switch, the electrical contacts controlled by pressure, and the unloader valve. Note that it's important that the tank pressure is higher than your regulated supply output. The BEV85 is factory set at 130 psi. Therefore, the pressure switch will cut out at 130 psi, but it will also cut back in again at about 110 psi, with a differential of about 20 psi. We will review how to adjust the pressure in a moment. It is normal for the unloader valve to vent a little air when the pressure switch turns off. This is where the non-return valve closes and the head pressure is reduced so that the motor can easily start again as required. If this hissing continues, start by looking at the non-return valve, not at the pressure switch. If you have to adjust the tank pressure, please note the following. First, isolate the BEV85 from electrical supply. Then remove the cover and then make only small quarter-turn adjustments to the required pressure. Clockwise for more and anti-clockwise for less. Then put the cover back on, plug it back in and run the unit. Please note that you can only adjust the maximum tank pressure. You cannot adjust the differential. We check the non-return valve's operation by waiting for the BEV85 to reach its cutout pressure and then cycle off. That shot of air will be released from underneath the pressure switch. This is normal operation. Review of the non-return valve is important. Failing non-return valves are the common reason pressure switches are being incorrectly diagnosed. Please note how to clean or replace the valve. This next troubleshooting section we'll look at is why the motor might hum and not run. The first most common reason, the one we'll go into more detail on, is a faulty capacitor. Other reasons could be low voltage, typically because people plug compressors into long extension leads, or a motor winding failure, or a faulty unloading valve in the pressure switch. If the pressure has not been released out of the head pressure will be too high for the motor to push against. To inspect a faulty capacitor, first of all isolate the compressor, depressurize the air tank, disconnect the high pressure hose, remove the metal cover, test the capacitor using a multimeter, and where the insulation has failed or the capacitance is greater than 5% or less than 5%, replace. Then reinstall the capacitor. Replace the cover. Connect the high pressure hose and then run the unit again. The next troubleshooting section will focus on excessive moisture in regulated air supply. The first most common reason is lack of maintenance. So this will focus on draining the receiver, confirming the auto drain settings and functionality, and then learning how to carry out replacement of the auto drain. You may also though need to consider moving the compressor to areas of less humidity, and also ensure the intake air filters are regularly serviced. With gloves and glasses on, loosen the drain cock to bleed the compressed air from the tank. When depressurized, remove, clean and replace.
And then what we also do is country all the way. And just make sure that that's all clean, which it is. And just give it a little wipe with a bit of a rag. Make sure that's fine.
When the unit is cycled out, confirm the automatic drain test function and operation. Press the test button on the controller. This controller has been factory set for the operating conditions. Please note the interval time between the bursts is 35 to 45 seconds and the length of the burst is set at 2 seconds. Before replacing any parts of the drain, first confirm that the auto drain tap is on and that the drain hose can flow freely downwards, and inspect the auto drain mesh filter before replacing anything else. The following footage is of how to replace the auto drain, controller and solenoid. The final defence to limit moisture in the air supply on the BEV85 is the regulator. This regulator has an air trap and filter. To inspect and service this, depressurise the system. Then remove the bowl and filter. Wash them both with warm water and then return them. Please note that this bowl will also automatically drain when the pressure drops below 2 psi or there is more than 10 ml of moisture built up. Thank you for your time.